Welcome to Wager Wars. I'm George Carmona, the host of Gridiron Junkeez, and I'm going to be joined this year by the other Babs, and we are going to go head-to-head each week to see who the bettor is.
We give you our 3 best bets for the week, and at the end of the season, the Wager Wars champion is determined based on who made the most profit.
In the event of a tie, we will turn to winning percentage. My first bet for Wager Wars is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs as an anytime touchdown scorer. That's coming in at plus 165. A $100 bet would win you $265. I found the odds on FanDuel at plus 165 for Jahmyr Gibbs to be an anytime touchdown scorer. He's a dual threat back, and the Lions scored the 3rd most rushing touchdowns last season, and none of those running backs are on the roster, just Jahmyr Gibbs. My second bet for Wager Wars is Ryan Tannehill to throw under 222.5 passing yards. That bet is currently coming in at minus 115 at Caesars Sportsbooks. $100 would pay you $186.96. The Titans are taking on the Saints this upcoming week, and I want you to name another Titans receiver other than DeAndre Hopkins. The Saints defensive line is going to also get excellent pressure on them. They've been drafting 4 stud defensive linemen. Keep your eyes peeled for Isaiah Foskey and Brian Breesy to get a lot of pressure on Tannehill and to force them into shorter passes. My third and final bet for this week of Wager Wars is going to be the Giants' money line. That line is currently at plus 150 on FanDuel. $100 would win you $250. The boys in blue are playing harder than ever, and yes, I know that both teams are blue, but the Giants, are going to prove why they are going to win the division this week. This is a huge game for them, and Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley coming off of fresh contracts is going to make a real difference, and you're going to see a revitalized New York Giants team.
My first bet for Wager Wars is going to be the Detroit Lions first quarter money line plus 170 at Bet365. I looked at the deferral stats. Both these teams deferred the same amount of times, and they also won the same amount of games when they deferred. But I also looked at Cincinnati because they have interesting deferral statistics, but this had a much more favorable line. Detroit's going to come out hard to start. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but I think they're going to win the first quarter. A $100 bet here pays $270 at Bet365. And my second bet for Wager Wars is going to be Dolphins first half money line at plus 145. The Crackman always says that the first half is a truer number because there's less late game nonsense to go on. I actually like the Dolphins to win this game, but the first half just has a bit more of a positive EV to it, so that's what we're going to go with. A $100 bet here at Bet365 pays $245. And my final bet for Wager Wars is going to be Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 115. This bet has a slight edge, but as Nick Diaz said, I'm horny on the Jags this year, and I'm expecting them to have a good start. A $100 bet at PointsBet here is going to pay $186.96.
Rob, I absolutely am a fan of that Detroit Lions first quarter pick. I think you should be a fan of my Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown score. Do you think that touchdown happens in the first quarter to help you win your bet and my bet? Can we see this bet won in the first quarter of that game Thursday night?
It's absolutely insane because we'll actually profit the exact same amount if all 3 of our bets cash because we had somewhat similar odds across a lot of our bets, but you would have to be a real degen to parlay those 2 together. That would be a very interesting bet.
I have thought about parlaying all of my bets that we just made here. Although we are going straight only, it's just tempting. It's tempting for me to want to go for that home run shot. But let's just give the people what they want here, a little bit of strategy. If you are losing in Wager Wars and it's starting to come late to the season, tell me we aren't going to throw some first-time touchdown scores in there to possibly like bring us back, some plus 800, plus 900 straight bets.
Yes, and because of the way this game is structured, it's to the end of the season. It's like we're in the Premier League going for the title. So you can be really far behind and you have to try and make a huge jump at the end of the last few weeks. You're going to have to be a little bit risky.
Absolutely. And you should be paying attention to the Wager Wars all throughout the season. It's coming to you every week before the NFL games start for that week. The last thing I wanted to touch on, though, was that game that the Cowboys and Giants are playing on Sunday Night Football, that game is usually played in Dallas. Do you feel like that home field advantage makes a big difference here? Because the lines don't say so.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the lines don't say so, but I am down bad on the Dallas Cowboys this year. I'm expecting a lot of nonsense to occur. So if the Giants win, it's good for my futures bets. I've stacked up a lot of futures bets against Dallas and Philly this year. So if we get a little bit of an upset on Sunday Night Football, I am quite happy about it.
And I had mentioned to you, do you know any other Titans receivers other than DeAndre Hopkins?
No, they're a weak team, and they're a team that potentially is going to be with a new coach eventually, because it seems like this fit isn't going to continue to work because they've had multiple opportunities and they haven't been able to put it together with having absolute studs. Now, DeAndre Hopkins showing up was interesting to me. It's clearly, he doesn't want to win a Super Bowl. He's about trying to get that check. And I think that there's potential for some connections between him and Tannehill. But honestly, at this point, you might as well put Tannehill at receiver, because then you'd have two.
Yeah, that is true. I think you see Malik Willis starting some games sooner rather than later. Well, Rob, this has been fun. We're going to come back again to this next week. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any Wager Wars picks. This is going to be the most intense betting battle that you've ever seen in the NFL, and it's coming from me, George Carmona, the host of Gridiron Junkeez, and my man, the other Babs,